There have been versions of Beauty and the Beast going back to the 2nd century. You know, there's been some criticism of it that it's like a woman in an abusive relationship. I can save him. I don't really see it that way. I presume you don't either. But why? What do you say to that type of concern that it suggests to girls? Stick with that abusive boyfriend. Maybe you can fix him.
It's such a good question, and it was something I really grappled with at the beginning. The kind of Stockholm Syndrome question about this story. So I did some reading about Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome is where a prisoner will take on the characteristics of and fall in love with, in this sort of really strange way, their captor. Belle actively argues and disagrees with him constantly. She has none of the characteristics of someone with Stockholm Syndrome, because she keeps her independence, of mind. And I also think that there is a very intentional switch where, in my mind, Belle decides to stay. She gives as good as she gets. You know, he bangs on the door, she bangs back, and there's this defiance that, you know, you think I'm going to come and eat dinner with you, and I'm your prisoner, I'm your cat? Absolutely not. And you know, it's only when and I think that's the other beautiful thing about the love story, is that they form a friendship first. The love builds out of that, which in many ways I actually think is more meaningful than a lot of love stories where it was love at first sight and you're dealing with all of these kind of projections. Beast and Belle begin their love story really irritating each other and really not liking each other very much. Slowly builds to friendship, slowly, very slowly builds to them falling in love. That is a big problem with a lot of traditionally written fairy tales, is that you're like, so the girl's just gonna give up her entire existence and everything that's important to her for this guy. That's, you know, and that seems to be like this recurring theme, which is like, whoa, this is, you know.
Even Belle goes that way, because she's so in love with fairy tales at the beginning of the story and finding her Prince Charming.
She does sing about her Prince Charming, but I think he's kind of, the sense that I got from Belle is that he's a bit of an afterthought. She's much more interested about getting out there and traveling and reading, and I think as well, like, Prince Charming is someone that comes along and understands her.